Hey guys, how are you guys doing? It's Victoria. Welcome back to another video. So today we're going to talk about order blocks. All right. So this is something that is very important to the strategy. And I haven't really spoke about it that much, to be quite honest. It's just something that's always kind of been in the background, but I think it's very important that you make sure that you do incorporate this. I will show you how to draw them. And of course, you can always use an indicator. All right, so the the dashboard that I use, which is the GCash, is now called the Apex Pro, I believe. They also include the order block within the dashboard, and you can turn it on or off as you choose. Okay, so let's get to it. So what order blocks do is allow us to identify trap volume, right? So as traders, we can't actually see the volume, but we know where it's found. So there's two things that market makers cannot take away from us. They can't fake the shark fin, which is the TDI confirmation. That's where the volume is. And the trap volume can be identified with pins from the bottom and pins from the top in the areas of consolidation and accumulation on your yesterday's high low, weekly high low, monthly high low, right? Your stop lines, you can see those big as day, right? Your consolidation areas, right? Typically, which happens in Asia, right? So an order block, so what is it, right? An order block is a specific set of candles or a bar. I normally use candles that when properly viewed in an institutional context, highlight smart money buying or selling. So a bearish order block is the last bearish candle before a strong move to the top, forming a peak formation high or higher high in an institutional order flow. So when price breaks the level downward, it's called a bearish order block breaker. Okay. Again, this is down a downward movement from the top, from your peak, and it's usually moving away from yesterday's high low, weekly high low, monthly high low, or even the quarter points, right? Your whole numbers. I'm gonna have an indicator for that too. All right, so I'm gonna skip over this because we'll go and look at a live chart. So bullish order block is the same thing, but just in reverse. It's the last bearish candle before a strong move to the bottom, forming a peak formation low or lower low in an institutional order flow. So when price breaks that level, it's called a bullish order block breaker. Okay. And it's downward movement, and it's away from the peak formation low. We always talk about trade away from the peak, right? So this is it. I'm gonna skip that. All right, so these are 5 steps here on how to identify them. So again, it's a peak formation high or low. Prices are on yesterday's high or low, weekly high or low. Remember, I was talking about those quarter points or the whole number quarter points. Okay. One must identify the bullish or bearish order block. For example, the last bullish or bearish candle for the formation of the peaks or higher high or higher low, or you can just use the indicator. All right, and it must be broken. Price must break and close above or below the bullish or bearish order block. Okay, it's often, depending on the time frame you're trading, it could be your 513 cross, it could be your 13, it could be a 50 EMA there, you know, whichever one of those that you're using. It could be the high-low indicator. It could be a quarter point. You know, don't discount all those. That's all price action. Okay, it's all price action. So make sure you incorporate that. And when price gives us a retest, right? Sometimes we don't get the retest, or I've noticed sometimes a retest may be on the previous trading day, like slightly, right? But it still gave it to us, right? Or if you can't see it, you can't see the retest very well, you can just drop down, maybe go to the 5-minute. I haven't really looked at that to see if I can see the retest, but usually I go to M30. That usually works for me. But oftentimes you can see the retest nicely with the indicator as well. I have that too. That can help you. I know I'm cheating, but hey, they're there to help us. We're totally relying on indicators. As you're going to see on my chart, stripped away a lot of stuff, just really trying to focus on, price action. So let's get to it. All right, some water here. So we're going to go from top down. This is the daily time frame. 1 second. Okay, so from the daily time frame, this is going to help you to identify which way to go. Now today's Friday. This is just beautiful, right? It's a head and shoulders pattern. So the daily candle is we already know we're going long. If you're looking at this, thinking you're going to short this thing, I don't know what to tell you. You're just going to be a part of liquidity. But when you see this pattern, this is a powerful pattern. And you know what? Let me open up UCAD because that was something in the group. Somebody, excuse me. Somebody was asking me about it. Change this. Okay. And I already marked it up. So perfect. So we'll start from the beginning. So somebody was looking to go short, and that was yesterday. And when I looked at this, I was like, I know it's at the high, but I don't know yet. You know what I'm saying? I just don't know that I'm going to short this thing yet. So I went from the top. I saw that it was still a green candle. Okay, we're still at the high. We have a reversal up here. This is daily. Sorry, my dog is making noise. But when I got to the 4-hour, look at this, guys. This is what I saw early on, was this pattern being built, this head and shoulder pattern. So I knew from that, I was like, no way, I'm not shorting this thing, not yet, right? It's going to need a day or so. So then I drop on down to H1. Just look how nice and clear that head and shoulders pattern is, right? Because pattern is number one, guys, totally number one. Okay, so the orange indicator, the orange order block is the indicator, and the pink is me, right? I'm here just drawing them on there. Okay, so this is from the day candle, and what I like to do when I'm at H1, I also like to move this vertical line to the time that I show up. Okay, so that is about 1,300. Yep, about 1,300 hours. 1,300 hours is when I get to the market. And when I got here this morning, I was like, shoot. I really wanted to see if price was going to come up here, because usually that's what happens. But since I had missed all this here, you're right, it just only went to the ADR high, which is fine. So I always use either, because when I got here, right, the opportunity for me to enter this thing sooner, right, at this area here, perhaps, was already gone. So my target area was around here. And remember, it was at the high, so the possibility for it to reverse was was very real. But by the time I showed up, I can still totally clean up on this thing. Okay. Let's go down. All right, so this I drew this here for the group yesterday. Okay, because we had our peak formation low here. Okay, and what did we say the bullish order block was? It was the last candle, the last, excuse me, did I say bullish? Yeah, that's the right one. I'm losing my mind. This is the last candle, okay, for the push up. So here we go. All right, so let me drop down to here. Okay. And you see how nicely, let me move this a little bit, make a few adjustments. I mean, honestly, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to be perfect, but this is where we are. This is where you would draw the order block. And what are we waiting for, right? We want price to move away from the peak formation low, away from yesterday's low, which is right here, the blue line. So depending on what time you showed up, so this was Thursday. Remember, my time is 1300. This has already happened for me, right? So when I get to the market, I can see that it's already tried to retest it here. Okay, I can totally just enter this market right here. That could be my entry. Okay. Oops, I didn't mean to do that, but that is my entry based on this back. 1300. This is my entry. Okay. And your exit, remember, if you can look left to find your exit, then you look left, right? And I drew this on here to show that this is the area where I'm looking to exit. Okay. From there to there, 65 pips. So this is really considered a peak formation. This is one day after the new peak. So I could have just held this one, right? When you see this happening, you can also just hold it, right? And you can swing this into the next day. It's also a possibility, okay? And just remember the pattern, you have your WVVN, okay? Sometimes if it's not clear, go to a time frame that's clear. And this is more like head and shoulders instead of a W, but you need to make sure that you can actually see the pattern and move it to a time frame that works for you. All right, so today, when I got to the market, because I wasn't paying attention, okay, which happens all the time, right? We're not going to get into all these trades early and be able to swing them. But sometimes we get the opportunity to do that. And, you know, it's amazing. All right. So, so here for today, we got this. So when I show up, it's good to identify when you show up, because then you have an idea of what to expect at that time. Okay. And as you can see here, we had a beautiful W. Okay. That did show up for us, but we're talking about order blocks here that is where we exactly want to trade from. So if you wanted to draw another one here, it's totally fine. Just move it over. I think this will probably work right there because that looks like that last bullish candle before the push up. And then this one, you see, this one did a retest here, right? Came back here, gave us a stop hunt. Okay, then we have another, this is where the actual retest ended. right? The reversal is now done. So now I'm asleep, right? I'm asleep through all this, or maybe you got in here early and you're just riding this thing out. But nonetheless, this is the retest to this particular order block up here. Okay. And now we're entering. Okay, we're going to enter if you are available to enter above yesterday's low, excuse me, high, then totally enter it right there. But again, me, this is when I came and this is when I entered. All the retest to the order block was done. This was an excellent trade. Let's see. Right to the ADR, it was 42 pips, and that's exactly where I was at, around 40 some odd pips. Okay. This would have been an excellent trade to double up on, because once you see that the retest happened, and it's game over for real. Okay, game over. GJ. Oh man, let's talk about GJ real quick. Let me see, where is it? GJ on these. I want you to see. It was also a one peak formation. There we go. Okay, so we can see here GJ is at the high. Okay, we see the daily candle is short. So we're looking to short this. Oops, let's try to look at H4. Now let me draw my time showing up. Well, this is H4, so let me just leave that right there. Let me show y'all something real quick. So what you could do. This is the daily candle. Okay. We know with daily candle that we want to go short. H4 is also clearly telling us that we're going short. We have the second leg already happening here. H1. Okay. Again, clearly short. So let me move this over. It's perfect. All right, so when I get here, this is when I'm entering the market, right? And this would be the last bullish, excuse me, bearish. Now we're talking about going short right there, be the last bearish candle. So I would drop my order block right there. You can do this on H1 again, wherever it is that you're planning on entering. That's what you want to do. But you know, we like to go even shorter. This is M30. M15. Okay, and look at that. Now, I have this indicator turned on just for M15 because that's usually where I enter. I should probably do it on M30 because I like M30 too. But it's really, again, this is my preference. Whatever your preference is, just do that. Okay. As long as it makes sense to you. And if you need to adjust your order block for M15, then adjust it. To me, that would be where it needs to be. And as you can see, we had the retest and all that stuff is done. By the time I get here, it's done. So when I got here this morning, I jumped in this trade. I got like 40. I can't even believe I didn't write it down. But it was a beautiful trade. And I got out right here at the quarter points and it just kept dropping. But I'm not trying to be greedy. It went all the way down to almost 200 pips. Beautiful trade, but I took my pips around here and I was done. I was happy. But that's it, guys. I mean, we don't want to overcomplicate this. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. I think there's one more thing I wanted to talk about because it's not showing. Let me see. Let me go down to N5. What I was looking for. Just wanted to show y'all. Okay. Happened a few days ago. When I see these, it's like fire. Okay. Just like anytime price is retesting it, it's fire. But sometimes these things show up. Sometimes they don't. So I hope, excuse me, I hope that this video on order blocks is clear and that it makes sense and that you'll spend this weekend back testing and applying this to the pairs that you trade and getting used to seeing price action and price retesting it, attempting to retest it or whatnot, and then enter. Okay, that's really it. And I just showed you from daily all the way down to M15. And again, whichever one of these timeframes that you're going to enter, that's what you're going to do. Now, sometimes the daily and H4 are not in sync, right? You may have daily showing short, H4 going long. I always use H4 as my guide for entry and my what I'm looking for. So if H4 says that it's going long, then I'm looking to stop hunt low rise. If H4 is short, I'm looking for stop hunt high, drop. Okay. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. See you in the next one.